Hi guys, Mary Beth Temple here, and I want to take you through a very simple crochet doily. So many of us get all excited about doilies. They're beautiful, they're intricate, they take forever, and they can be really terrifying if you're not used to working in thread. So we're going to make this very simple doily with size 3 crochet thread, so that's a little thicker, and a 3.5 millimeter hook. And so it goes relatively quickly. It doesn't have a whole lot of rounds. And we have the color changes to keep us interested while we go. So let's go ahead and get started on this center out, 3-colored, easy, simple crochet doily. For materials, of course, you'll have the specifics on your printed pattern, but I am using a USE crochet hook, which is 3.5 millimeters. And I'm using 3 different colors of size 3 crochet thread. You do not have to use 3 different colors if you don't want to. You don't have to use the 3 colors that I used, but that's what I'm using in the project, and of course that will all be written out on your pattern. What I want to do first is get you started on this pattern. So we're just going to do the first couple of rounds to get going. Although it's a sizable doily, there's not that many rounds in the actual pattern. So this is a pretty good starter doily. So to begin, we're going to chain 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's our chain 10. And we're going to join it into a round by putting a slip stitch in the very first chain. So we're going to join it into a ring, rather, not join it into a round, but we're going to join it into a ring with a slip stitch in the very first chain. And so that gives us our ring, and we're going to put the beginning of the doily in the ring. So we're going to chain 3. Chain 3 counts as a double crochet throughout this pattern, and then we're going to put 19 double crochets right in the ring for a total of 20. Now what I'm doing, because I hate weaving in ends, and this is pretty sizable thread, I'm crocheting right over the tail. And once I have my 19 additional double crochets over it, I'm just going to trim it off and call it done. So that gives me one less end to weave in later. So like I said, I have crocheted over my opening tail. I'm just going to clip that right there because I don't think that's going to come out with 19 double crochets on top of it. So I'll just get rid of that. And I'm going to join the round by putting a slip stitch in the very top of the chain 3 that was at the beginning of the round. So there's my chain 3. And I like to insert my hook under 2 of the 3 legs of the chain because I think that's a little sturdier, but as long as you're consistent wherever you go, as long as you go in the same place every time, it will be fine. So there is my round 1. The beginning of round 2, we're going to chain 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now that chain 7 counts as a chain 4. You'll see why in a minute. And the first 3 chains count as a double crochet. So we're going to skip the next double crochet. So this counts as a stitch, so it replaces this one. Then we're going to skip the next one and double crochet in the next one. And then from here on out, it's chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, skip 1, double in the next. And we're going to do that all the way around. And then when we get to the end of the round, I will show you how to join the round. All right, I'm coming up to the end of round 2. And the last thing I'm going to do is chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I want to join the thread in the 3rd chain out of the 7. So it looks like an empty chain 4 up here, which I've had everybody else. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 chains up in that 7, and I'm going to join that round with a slip stitch. And that is round 2, and we have 10 doubles, and we have 10 spaces. So for round 3, we're going to chain 3, and that counts as a double crochet. We're going to double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet in the same space. 2, 3, 2 double crochet. So this is a shell, and we'll be doing this shell a lot, but for the very first time you have to get the thread where you want it to go, so the double counts. So there is the shell. Now we're going to chain 1 and shell in the next double crochet. 2, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 more in the same space. And we're going to do this all the way around. So it's a shell in every double crochet with a chain 1 in between. Now this is round 3. Round 4 and round 5 are the same, except there's a greater number of chains in between the shells. So the next round has the shell and then has 3 chains in between the shells. And then the round after that has the shells and it has 6 chains between the shells. So you always, when you're working from the center out, you always have more stitches in every subsequent round because you have to make it so it lays flat. So we're going to continue putting a shell in each double crochet. I'm going to finish this round and join it at the top of the chain 3. And then like I said, so this is 1, 2, this is the round 3, this is the one we're doing. Round 4 is the same with a bigger chain in between. Round 5 is the same with a bigger chain in between. And as I keep going, I'm still going to have something going on in every one of these columns of shells. They get a little fancier as we go. So I'm going to get set to do the edging because I want to show you that on camera. But you will keep going in the white, and then I will join you back here with a little mini version, and we're going to talk about changing color and getting set up for that edging. Now you can crochet along in your center color and keep going up through round 7, but I wanted to skip ahead a little bit and show you some other techniques from the end of the doily, so I've made this little teeny sample to get going. So yours will be much bigger than mine is, but I want to make sure that I can show you some of these techniques. Now, on round 8, essentially what you're doing is putting 9 double crochets in each one of these chain spaces, and that's all you're going to do. You're going to double crochet all the way around. To make it more interesting, I did a color change. Now, many of us were taught when we learned to crochet to join with a slip stitch and then chain 3, and that counts as a double. But I think it's a little neater to do what we call a standing start. So I'm going to put the slip knot on my hook like I normally do, and I'm going to yarn over as if to start a double. And I'm going to go ahead and just stick that double crochet right in there. It's not attached to anything, but I think it blends in a little more neatly than that join with a slip stitch and chain 3. And like I did earlier for this color change, like I did at the beginning of the first round, I'm going to just crochet over that tail so that I don't have to weave it in later. So all I'm going to do now is put 9 double crochet in each one of the chain spaces. In the case of this little mini that I'm using on camera, I have 10 spaces, but on your actual doily there will be 20. And when we get to the single crochet that's anchoring those chains, we're just not even going to deal with that. We're just going to skip right over it and put 9 in the next. And we're going to do that all the way around. So you'll have this little V that you can see. And we're going to take use of that in the next round. So go ahead and put your doubles in all the way around. And when you get to the end, you're going to join the round with a slip stitch in the top of the first double crochet, and then go ahead and end off that color if you're doing the color changes along with me, and then we'll get to the edging. Round 9, I'm going to go ahead and change color again, and I'm going to do that standing start one more time, but I'm going to start with a single crochet. This is an incredibly fast and simple round. All we're going to do is single crochet. Remember how I pointed out that little upside down V, little triangle that we got between the groups? And the reason that that's good that that's there is that's where we're going to put the single crochet. So we're going to single crochet in that little triangle space, chain 11, and then single crochet in the next little triangle space. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then look for that next little triangle space. You can count. You can insert your hook between the 9th and 10th double crochet from your hook, but it's much easier to just look for that little V and stick the hook in there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we're going to use this color all the way out, so that's our last color change. So I'm going to do this all the way around, and you can see it pops up a little bit. That's fine. That's what we're after. We're going to do this all the way around, joining the round with a slip stitch in the first single crochet, and I'll catch you on the next round. Here we are at the top of round 10, and I am at the beginning of this chain space, but I want the hook to be a little closer to the center, so I'm going to slip stitch across to the center of the loop about 4. Let's call it 4 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to chain 1 and put 3 single crochets in that same chain space. 1, 2, 3, and now I am going to chain 2 and treble in the next chain space. So remember, a treble is 2 yarn overs, not 1, like for a double. Chain 2, treble. I'm going to do this until there are 6 trebles in that same space with a chain 2 in between. So treble chain 2, treble chain 2, treble chain 2, etc. until I have 6 in there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I have 1 more. And then I'm going to chain 2 and then put 3 single crochets in the next loop. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and then the same thing with the treble. 6 trebles with a chain 2 in between. And so it's going to alternate. There'll be the 3 single crochets and then trebles, and then 3 single crochets and then trebles. We're going to do that all the way back to the beginning. We're going to join the round in the first of those first 3 single crochets, and then we will move on to the next round. Okay, so we finished round 10. We're moving on to round 11, and what we're going to do is single crochet in the next single crochet after the round join. So it's the center single crochet of the 3. So there's 3 in a row, it's the center one. So we're going to single crochet in there, and then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to double crochet in the next treble. And then we're going to keep, again, it's very consistent. It's chain 3, double in the treble. Remember, there's 6 trebles in each one of these scallops, so there's going to be 6 doubles. And there's a chain 3 in between everything. So we're going to double crochet in each treble with a chain 3 in between. And then when we get to the end of the scallop, oh, I got 2 more in this scallop. And remember, these are doubles, not trebles. It was treble on the last round. It's double in this round. Okay, so there's my last treble in the scallop. And I have my double in there already, so I'm going to chain 3, 2, 3, skip 1 single crochet in the next single crochet, which is the center one of the 3. And I'm going to do this all the way around. So 3 chains in between everything, a double in each treble, and a single in the center single of the 3 single crochets that are in the row. And once again, I'm going to go all the way around. I am going to join the round with a slip stitch in that very first single crochet, and I will catch you for the very final edging. All right, well here we are on our very fancy, very final edging. I have joined the end of round 11. So at the beginning of round 12, I'm going to slip stitch across to the first double crochet, and that will be 3 because there's 3 chains, so there will be 3 slip stitches, and then I'm going to slip stitch in that first double crochet. And now I'm going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and double crochet in the 4th chain from hook. So not back in the stitch, but you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. I'm going to put the double crochet in the 4th chain from hook, which is the first chain that I made. And I have this little curvy guy right there, and then I'm going to just slip stitch in the next double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, double crochet in the 4th chain from hook, and then slip stitch in the next double. And then we're getting this little scallopy edging. Now I'm going to show you on the big one, when you are working on this edging and you're going around and you get to the 6th double crochet in the scallop, remember we had 6 trebles and then we have 6 doubles, you're going to skip that single crochet. So you slip stitch in that last double, chain 4, double crochet in the 4th, chain from hook, and then slip stitch across in the next double. So skip that single and leave a little V in there. All you have to do is do that all the way around, join the round to the beginning, and cut your thread because you're done. Last thing you have to do is weave in all the ends and do a wet block to sort of open up that stitching and make everything even. Thanks so much for joining me. This was a great first doily project because it goes relatively quickly because of the size of the thread. The pattern's relatively simple, and you learn some new techniques. Now next time you can do something a little fancier if that's what floats your boat. And if it turns out doilies are not for you, you still have this beautiful one that you can display in your home. I'm Mary Beth Temple. Thanks so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you again soon.